In notes number 2, we're going to talk about the shape of a pyramid, and it's just a pyramid that we're going to talk about this time. So first off, we got to talk about what the formula is, and our formula for the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times the capital B times H. Now remember, the capital B is the area of the base, and in a pyramid you only have one base this time, so there's not two of them. And the shape can also change. So this one is a rectangle or a square, but it could be a triangle, it could be a polygon, it could be a rectangle, it could be lots of different shapes. Then your height is still the perpendicular height from that base. So usually it's going to go right through the center. Sometimes, depending on how your shape looks, it might look a little bit off to the side, but most of the time it's going to be right down the center. For number 1, if we look at this, we want to know the shape of our base in our pyramid. And if you look at it, our shape is a triangle. And not only is it a triangle, but it is a right triangle. Let me go over that in orange. So we can see that there is a right angle right there. The volume formula that we are going to use, since this is a pyramid, is going to be 1/3 capital B times H. For the area of our base, since that is a triangle, we're going to use 1/2 base times height. So we're at little b times H. Now remember, that's just for the triangle part of it. And if you need to, you can always draw out a separate picture for that. So our 1/2, our base then would be our 4, and our height will be our 6 for that triangle. Because remember, the two legs are your base and your height. If we multiply that all together, that gives us 12 for the area of the base. Next, for the height, we want the perpendicular height of our pyramid. So that would be our 9 meters. And now we can take each of those values and we can put them into our formula. So you have 1/3 times the capital B, so that's my 12, and then times the height, and that was my 9. So if I multiply this, I'm doing it by myself, I've got 4 for the first one, and then times my 9 still, so that would give us a 36 meters cubed, since we have our volume. For number 2 now, we have still a pyramid, but we have a different shape for the base. And the shape for our base is a polygon. It's not just a plain old polygon, it is a regular polygon, because we see that all of our sides are congruent to each other. So we know that we're going to be using our formula of 1/2 little a times capital P for that regular polygon. For the volume of our whole prism, we still have a pyramid, so we have 1/3 capital B times H. So going on to the area of our base, the reason I gave ourselves a lot more space here is because we need to draw out our hexagon. And remember, we drew out all of our connecting pieces from the center. We need to figure out what that central angle is. So if you take 360 divided by our 6 equal triangles, we get 60 degrees. So this angle right there is 60 degrees. So if I take that triangle, and I'm just going to draw that triangle itself a tad bigger, that means that this upper angle is 60. And when I divide it down the center, then that gives us, each of these are going to be 30 degrees. So that's 90 degrees. That means that the remaining angle is 60, so we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. I know that the length of the edge is 12, so if I divide that in half, I've got 6. And now we're looking at just this one triangle. So because we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, I wrote down what our ratio is. That means that the hypotenuse is going to be 12, because the smallest piece is the 6, so this is going to be 12. That means the medium piece is going to be 6 square root 3, and that is the little a that I'm looking for. So if my little a is 6 square root 3, now I can take all of those values and put them in. The perimeter, we've got 6 sides that are 12 each, so there's my setup for my area. When I multiply these all together, we get 216, but then I still have my square root of 3 that I did not multiply, so I'm going to save that for the last step again. On to the height. So our height of our prism is this line right there, so my 17 feet. So now when we take our values for our 1/3 capital B times H, we have 1/3 times our capital B, and that was our 216 square root 3 for our base. And our height of our prism is 17. So when we multiply all this together, we get 1224 square root 3. So if I multiply just the number parts of it, not the square root of 3. But I do, most of the time, we want to have a non-exact answer as well. And that would be our answer. So 2120.03, and that would be feet cubed. I saved this last one now for you to do more of the steps yourself, so these are where your questions are going to come in. with this one, it's still a pyramid, so we know we're still going to be using our V equals 1/3 capital B times H. Now, the area of the base, you can see what shape it is, and I want you now to find what is the area of that base. Because it is a rectangle, you should have used just regular base times height, so that would be your 10 times 8, and you get 80 for your area of your base. Now for the height, I want you to now do this one on your own as well. All right, this is the height of the pyramid. That should just be automatically your 6 inches right away. Now you can take your two values, our 80 and our 6, and I want you now to fill in what is your volume going to be for the whole pyramid. Your setup should have looked like this. So you take 1/3 times the area of your base, which was our 80, times the height of the pyramid, and that is 6. When you multiply all those values together, you get exactly 160, and that would be inches cubed for your final answer.